Respected Shashi Tharoor ji, to continue my earlier episode on 25th instant, kindly allow me to conclude dismissing logically your other issues which you have raised in your books on the concoction of the fact of Nehruji. Issue number 2, I have already discussed with you the issue number 1. Now it is issue number 2. It was the 2 photographs circulated on Nehruji that he was some sort of inveterate public womanizer. In this regard, you brought Vijayalakshmi Pandit and Nayantara Sehgal in its support. I have no questions in it, but how do you convince the people of India if the photographs hugely circulated in uncustomary manner of Jawaharlal Nehru with Edwina during 1946, the time when India was passing through a severe political crisis? In one side, on the other, the fire of Hindu-Muslim riots prevails everywhere, and the offable of revolt in the Royal British Indian Army. Then India was on the crossroad, and the projected Prime Minister Jawaharlal Nehru and Edwina were seen in a photograph in the mood of swimming in the pool, sometimes in the mood of igniting the cigarette on the lip of Edwina by Jawaharlal Nehru. And sometimes it was also seen in such a manner, in such a romantic manner, which were not befitting on the part of the aged politician like Jawaharlal Nehru. These are also well circulated photographs. Are those photographs are concocted or considered those are the symbol of platonic love, which are beyond the explanation of traditional Hindustani culture? Not only that, during that crisis period, Jawaharlal Nehru got married with a Muslim woman, which was kept secretly in 1946. And the fact was that it had been suppressed on the intervention of Gandhiji. This was found in the article of Sunanda Kumar Dattare, a noted journalist. Can it be accepted by the persons who really boast for the Hindu culture? I do not know what explanation you have in your treasure. In this regard, Lady Pamela Hicks, the daughter of Edwina and Louis Mountbatten, did not approve of it, which she revealed in an interview with Karan Thapar in the program of Devil's Advocate through CNN IBN channel in London a few years back, and made a tremendous statement over this relationship between Jawaharlal Nehru and Edwina, which she claimed that by this relationship Indian nation was ruined. I suppose you have had this information. It is also well circulated information in internet. One more point that I like to highlight before you from the writings of Mr. M. Mathai, a long-serving private secretary to Nehru, and it is well known to all, who believed Nehru fathered a son by a woman called Sarada Mata, who gave birth to the child in a convent in Bangalore. It was written in his book Reminiscence of the Nehru Age. What is your opinion regarding this? Another remarkable statement of Mr. Tunku Baravarajan. Gandhi experiment with his nieces. Nehru carried on with the viceroy's wife. What a splendid character of a national leader. Is it also concocted or false? So Tharoorji, you may humiliate WhatsApp sufferers, but you cannot defend your favorite Nehruji from his unrealistic attitudes. Now come to your third point. Oh, it is the case of Nehru and Patel. I am not interested to talk on them because both the characters are supplementary to each other, almost identically same in their characteristics. I do not think them the real national heroes because of their wholehearted involvement in plotting for ousting Subhash Chandra Bose from the party after Tripuri Congress. They are the two sides of the same coin. Now come to the fourth point, the most circulated statement of Jawaharlal Nehru: I am English by education, Muslim by culture, and Hindu only by accident of birth. Tharoorji, in your point of view that Pandit Nehru never thought such a thing, let alone said it. You defend it by putting a logic that N.B. Khare, who was the president of Hindu Mahasabha for a while in 1930s and 1940s, he wrote that line in an attack on Nehru. N.B. Khare means Dr. Narayana Bhaskar Khare, who was the member of Indian National Congress from 1916 to 1938. He was the president of Provincial Congress Committee of Central Provinces, and I think you know it, Mr. Tharoorji. He was also the founder and editor of a Marathi paper, Tarun Bharat, which was used to carry on the Congress propaganda in the year 1926. He became the first premier of the province and served from 14 July 1937 to 29 July 1938 as a congressman. Just think, Shashi Tharoorji, that first 22 years of his career he was an ardent congressman. After that he left Congress and joined Hindu Mahasabha. It is an anecdote of N.B. Khare, and he wrote a book titled The Angry Aristocrat, published in the year 1959, wherein in the page of 215 he put this statement of Jawaharlal Nehru. In 1959, Jawaharlal Nehru was a highly fashionable and highly powerful Prime Minister of India. And during that period, this erstwhile critic made a fake statement on him and the man was left unhurt. Is it believable? Really believable? Circumstantially, Jawaharlal Nehru was then in tension as reputed international intelligence reports claimed that Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose was alive. It was a very tension. Actually, he was then very busy with snooping on Bose family. So he was somehow in troubled situation. So in this case, he should not be blamed in this connection. But what of his sycophant historians did? And the successive governments of Congress and as well as his trusted Prime Ministers of India, right from Indira Gandhi to Rajiv Gandhi, what they did in this connection? Mr. Khare was alive during Indira Gandhi's regime. But this fake news was circulated and not challenged in his lifetime. But after the lapse of almost half centuries, we undertook this case and proved it as a fake. What a brittle logic, Mr. Tharoorji. Why, Tharoorji? Why are you doing this? Next I am coming to you that the very funny points you have raised, which not only prove these as funny, but also your erudition in this regard is challenged. Your points number 5. What do you say? That there is an allegation that Nehru and Bose disliked each other intensely. And what is more than Nehru allegedly called Bose a war criminal, and in its defense put, Nehruji did not dislike Bose, did not condemn Bose, except his one political choice during the war years, and certainly there is no record of his having described Bose as a war criminal. I will categorically prove you that your raising issues on Bose-Nehru relation were not well informed. I am confirmed that you never studied Subhash Chandra Bose's earlier letters to his I am confirmed that you never studied Subhash Chandra Bose's earlier letters to his mother, letters, correspondences to his friends of school time and college time, and his autobiographies in the name of an Indian pilgrim in the struggles, crossroads, and fundamental problems of India's revolution. But I am confident and confirmed that you have studied only one book, that is the book His Majesty's Opponent, authored by Sugato Bose. Before I go to discuss on this issue, I like to give an anecdote of a conversation between Justice Fanibhushan Chakraborty and Clement Attlee, held in Raj Bhavan, Calcutta in the year 1956, where ex-British Prime Minister clearly said to Justice Chakraborty on the question of whose credit it was for British had to withdraw their rule from India, he clearly and unequivocally said it was not Gandhi and the Congress, but the desperate and prudential approach of Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose and his Indian National Army was sole responsible for British to withdraw its rules from India. And in addition to that, Mr. Attlee was also asked at the same time by Justice Chakraborty to say about Gandhiji's contribution in India's freedom struggle. Here he also said in a sarcastically way that Gandhiji's contribution for India's liberation was minimal, not so important as Netaji's had. This is a very well circulated news prevailing since the time, but no empaneled historian made it so important and made it out of academic curriculum because it was against Gandhi and Nehru. Do you think it was fake or concocted? If you think it is not concocted, then I just request you to study the book Crossroads at page numbers 113 to 127. We will find there the Bose-Nehru relation. I just put some of them here for your convenience. First, Subhash Bose wrote to Nehru in the year 1939. It is one letter that he has written from Bihar to Nehru. I find, Subhash said, I find that for some time past you have developed tremendous dislike for me. I say this because I find that you take up enthusiastically every possible points against me. What could be said in my favor, you ignore. Second letter, second para. When a crisis comes, you often do not succeed in making up your mind on way or the other, with the result that to the public you appear as if you are riding two horses. Third, I should now invite you to clarify your policy and program, not in vague generalities, but in realistic details. I should also like to know what you were, socialist or leftist or centrist or rightist or Gandhite or something else. Number 4, nobody has done more harm to me personally and our cause in this crisis than Pandit Nehru you did. This was a reaction of Subhash Chandra Bose on Nehru. What Nehru did? These all were left unanswered by Nehru because he had no answer on this question that Subhash Chandra Bose raised before him. And Jawaharlal Nehru, on the other hand, plotted to claim Subhash Chandra Bose as war criminal. Secondly, if Subhash comes to India, I will be the first person to shoot him, said by Nehru. Last but not least, a secret order number L155211:1 issued on 11 February 1949 by Major General P.K. Khanduri from Bombay on the advice of the then Government of India headed by Jawaharlal Nehru that it is recommended that photos of Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose be not displayed at prominent places in unit lines, canteens, quarters, guards, or recreation rooms. There are so many anti-Subhash remarks and activities are found from Nehruji. Nehruji. Actually, it was not the problem of Subhash Chandra Bose to keep relation. After all, the episodes of Tripuri Congress where he has been betrayed blasphemously by Gandhi, Nehru, Patel and other their coteries. Still, Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose always wanted to go hand in hand with all Indians for the cause of India's liberation. But Nehru had the problem of superseding Netaji's charisma because he was too inferior to Netaji on many occasions. First, Netaji was a successfully achieved ICS while Nehruji could not despite his ardent endeavor. Could not. Netaji was very appealing to the youth, but Nehruji was not at the same stage. Third, Netaji became a seasoned politician having extraordinary mobilizing capacity while Nehru had that lack. So Nehru was very much worried about his position if Subhash was in India. So he desperately tried to keep Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose out of the country by any means, by hook or by crook. He wanted to suppress Netaji and wanted to oust him from this land. How do you defend this man? It's quite impossible. Tharoorji. Okay. Thank you. Jai Hind.